know, we're gonna break his rhythm, break his timing, and you know, I think that's the first and probably biggest key to this fight, just breaking his timing and his rhythm. And then after that, you know, my dad said the best. You know, as long as Shawn is ready, he can take on the world. And Bo Mack and Terrence said the same. Y'all are in for a treat. You know what I mean? When you got two fighters that got the same mindset, about the same abilities, and so on. I mean, you're in for a great night of boxing.
How does Shawn get ready?
How did Shawn get ready?
How does Shawn get ready?
Everything, man. Track work, swim work. Of course, training on the mountain. I think we were at 9,200 feet for this one, and everything in between. The sparring, of course. Did some rounds with Tank Davis. Did some rounds with Andre DeWerl. And those are the two biggest names that y'all would know. But we got it all in, man. Everything we need to do.
What do you think sparring with Gervonta Davis did for your preparation?
You know what? I think getting him on the back end of the sparring was more so just to make sure the eyes and the focus and everything's there. He is one of the sharpest boxers out there. I'm sure it won't change. It won't change much after being in the ring with Terrence. I would imagine that Terrence will be the sharpest, but that boy Tank is sharp.
Is it somebody you want to FaceTime a lot?
Who? No.
Now, Shawn, you were talking about like how much you were looking forward to this particular fight over the past like year and a half. Kind of like go a little bit more into that, like how you're excited about this particular bout going up against Terrence Crawford.
When he fought Jose Benavidez, before fighting Jose, I knew he was gonna move to 147, and even knowing he was gonna come to 47, I was like, I'll never fight him. When I saw his fight with Jose Benavidez, he was like, Jose's here, and he was like right here. It was like there was just nothing Jose could do. He was so dominant. I sat back after that fight, I was like, I have to get in the ring with this dude, man. He's great. You know, and I think that just over the course of time, hearing people talk and hearing people say that they wanted to see that fight, after the fight with Terrence, with Errol Spence Jr. was when I was like, hearing people say, you know, what would happen? Terrence Crawford and Shawn Porter. I was like, I think I got to do it. I think we got to do it, and here we are.
Double jab, right hand, comes straight in with land. Gamboa was doing it effectively.
Yeah,
you gonna push him back and get close to him.
There's a lot of film to look at, but none of those guys are me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you waste
And I understood exactly what they're saying. You know, we turned it up for Shawn Porter. As quiet as it's kept, every camp, I don't know how it happens, but every camp ends up being just a little bit better than the previous camp. It just is what it is. But when you take a look at the opponents I've been in the ring with, every camp's supposed to be a little bit better than the last. You know what I mean? So I understand fully what they were talking about. I feel like, you know, my dad might have been taking a shot. It is what it is. But I will say that this was the best camp that we've had. But then on the other side of that is the fact that Terrence Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anyone like me, but he toned it all the way up for me. So you get in the best is getting in the ring with the best. There's no doubt about that.
Why would this be a different result than you and Errol Spence? Why would the result be different?
You know, styles make fights. You know what I mean? It kind of is what it is. You know, my dad is right. Boxing is opinionated, and depending on who trained that judge, and who trained that judge, those three judges may be seeing something completely different than 5 out of 10 other people. It just kind of is what it is. So, you know, how will it be different? We got to win those judges. You know, we got to land that punch.
Hey, Shawn, what you think?
Is that real key to not letting this counter punch go in? Is that how you beat a counter punch?
That too. Yeah. I think, you know what, as a kid, you kind of learn things. And as you grow in time and you learn more, it's like some things that you learned as a kid, not that they don't matter anymore, but you find out other ways to defeat things. So I'll give you a prime example. As a kid, my dad said how you beat a counterpuncher is with combinations. A counterpuncher's weight, it can counter 1 punch or 2 punches, but they can't counter 3, 4, 5 punches. And then as you get older, you learn like, oh, I don't have to just throw in combination in order for this guy not to counter punch me. I can feint him or force him to be first, and that takes away his counter punch. So that just kind of give you a little bit more in depth into.
So we might be surprised with some of the.
Shawn, did you hear anything in Bud's tone?
About the whole night.
Shawn, did you hear anything from Bud's tone of voice?
Nah, he's locked in.
Oh, okay.
Exactly where I thought he would
Yeah,
be.
it was real quiet
Exactly where I thought
and
he
low.
would be. He said a couple of times, I'm just ready for the fight.
Oh, okay.
I promoted the hell out of this thing, and whatever slack he had, I picked all that up.
Yeah, you did.
And I had
From
a
the
treat
cycle.
for y'all today. We weren't able to get it in. I had a treat for y'all today.
What was
Hey,
the treat,
Shawn, you've been in the ring with Errol, who's a southpaw, for 12 rounds. And the 11th round, you got clipped with a hook on the inside. That seems to be Terrence Crawford's specialty, the hooks on the inside. What have you done to prevent that from happening again in this fight?
We definitely did the best we could to train to correct the error that I made in that fight in that moment. But yeah, I think that collectively it's just about not getting caught up in moments.
What about
Earl throw a
Shawn,
shorter
man?
hook
He's-
than
he's
Bud. Bud hooks be wide, so Shawn should be able to get inside on that.
More for left-handed or right-handed Crawford?
More for a left-handed.
More for left-handed.
Yeah, more for a left.
And Shawn, lastly, man, just mean it. Okay.
I grew into this, man. And these fighters, these young fighters that are coming up, they're gonna have to grow up fast. They got social media now. They have a presence now that they didn't have when I was like growing into the sport. When I was 20, 21, we didn't have everything the way that it is now. And so yeah, I will encourage those guys to learn the business, learn what's going on, learn the behind the scenes, understand your contracts, everything that I didn't care about. My dad was pushing it on me even though I didn't care about it. And then guess what? Once I had to call on it, I knew what I was doing and I knew what I was talking about. So yeah, I will definitely press upon those guys to start learning it all. Know your place as a fighter, but also know that your place as a fighter is to know the business as well.
Now, Shawn, you're talking about your legacy as a fighter, where you've been like, fighting for every single belt here in the welterweight division. Kind of going to your legacy and what you want to leave as a fighter here at welterweight.
I think the first side of that legacy is done. You can say that Shawn Porter's fought everybody. The other side of that legacy is you have to be able to say, I need y'all to say, y'all have to be able to say, Shawn Porter was in the ring with the best and he beat some of the best. This is the other best, and I have to beat this dude. That's what so when I say my legacy depends on that, and I keep saying, like, I've been in a couple of Super Bowls. I've won some and I've lost some. But I don't want to be this to be a Dan Marino effect when y'all talking about how good and how great he was. But you always talk about how good and great Dan Marino was, but he never won a Super Bowl. So I can't have y'all saying that about me. Can't have y'all saying, oh, he was in the ring with the best. But I F that butt.
What about
Shawn,
pressure?
Shawn,
Is that
what's your
confidence
thoughts
or
on
pressure?
Canelo Alvarez moving up the cruiserweight?
Shawn,
What
No
about
pressure.
making
Last
adjustments, Sean?
They make a lot
What
about
about
Terrence.
making adjustments in
Go
the
ahead,
ring?
go ahead. Yeah, I got
They
you.
make a lot about tough, meanness when it comes to Crawford. That's an edge he has over his opponents in the ring. Is that true in this fight? He's a meaner guy. That gives him something.
It comes in a different package in this fight, and the package that I have works for me. The package that he has works for him. It's up to me to make my package work for me against him, and that's what I intend to do.
Hey,
What about making
Shawn,
adjustments?
what's your thoughts on Canelo going up to cruiserweight?
I love to see him do it, man. He's not carrying this sport, but this sport, he's a big part of this sport. And no matter where he goes, no matter what he does, everybody's gonna be tuned in. So the more he can challenge himself and get everybody to rock with him, I dig everything this man has done, and I dig what he did against Caleb Plant. Solid, man, solid.
What do you think about Keith Thurman inactivity?
I hate it. I wish my boy would get back in here. I actually thought it was gonna be him and I. And I'm glad this one jumped off instead. This was the one I wanted. This one more than I wanted a rematch with Keith.
Hey, Terrence is good at making adjustments in the ring.
Last one.
Are you confident yourself that you can adjust in the ring? Once the bell's down.
Here's why I'm confident. It's always like my opposition always. I rise to that occasion, and understanding everything that he does in the ring and the way he makes adjustments and things like that, it's going to force me to just make the adjustments and do the necessary things to get the job done.
Thank you.
Shawn,
Appreciate
I
it.
got it. Thank y'all.